Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
City News.
It's midday. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Citi Prime News, which is live from our studios at number 11 Dr. Morton Loop in Adabraka, Accra. It's also live on all our partner stations across the country and across the globe on citinewsroom.com. I am Wilma Obuobi-Sakoman, and this afternoon I'm here with
Kweku Ediamansa.
Coming up over the next 1 hour, former Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo takes a swipe at Gabi Otridakon over comments that she aired in joining pensioners' picket at the Finance Ministry.
He doesn't decide for me what I need to do and what I do not need to do. It's as simple as that. I don't have time for things like that. People like that are not important to me or to my life. He's a disturbance. That's all I've got to say about it.
She's assured of personally taking legal action if government fails to respond to petition by pensioners. Also coming up, Asokwa Circuit Court grants Swami NDC youth organizer 50,000 cedis bail with 2 sureties.
Thankful to the judiciary and the judge for granting our brother bail and understanding the position that we're coming from.
Still ahead, National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, laments delay in release of school placement for first-year students.
All that the Ghana Education Service ought to do is to extend and change the date of the reporting date of the Form 1. It can't be the 20th because it is not practical as we speak.
And later, Parliament to begin vetting of ministerial nominees from February 20. Stay tuned as we bring you details of all that and more on the Citi Prime News, which is also live on all our affiliate stations across the country. In the Western region, we are on Adrempa 100.7 in Takwa and Beach 105.5 FM in Takoradi. And in the Bono region, we're on Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, we're on Adrempa 99.9 FM in Inkarie. In the Volta region, we're on Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohoi and Freedom 88.1 FM in Sugakope. In the Northern region, we're on Radio Gaki 88.3 FM in Saboba. In the Upper East, we're on Quality FM 88.7 in Garu, and Northeast Nobia FM 96.1 FM in Naralugu.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Many thanks for staying with us. We'll settle for the details of our stories now. Former Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo says she's unfazed by negative criticisms as she joined pensioner bondholders again today to demand a complete exemption from the domestic debt exchange program. Justice Sophia Akuffo received backlash from the general public as well as from Gabi Otridakon, a leading member of the New Patriotic Party, for joining the protest last Friday. Addressing journalists today, she indicated she would personally go to court if the Finance Ministry fails to respond to a letter issued by pensioner bondholders on January 10th this year for a complete exemption.
He doesn't decide for me what I need to do and what I do not need to do. It's as simple as that. I don't have time for things like that. People like that are not important to me or to my life. He's a disturbance. That's all I've got to say about it.
What do you say to the new directive from government, the new statement coming from government that there is an option, a voluntary option that you can sign on and get your monies paid?
That whole program is now over, isn't it? And we chose not to sign on to it. Now, the way things are going, what I sense and what I smell is the creation of 2 categories of people or 2 classes of people. Those who have been exempted by the issuer I think Doctor was very clear with the distinction. And then now they are calling those who refused to sign on to the debt exchange. They're calling them self-exempted. No, they simply refused to sign. They just simply want to stand by the original bond that they have with the government. And the word bond is not used as a casual term. Bond means tied to.
My word is my bond.
Yes. And when a government bond can be tossed up and down the tides like that, flip-flop, that's a serious thing. For me, my problem with this whole thing is the destruction of the image of this nation, and something that is being done which will last for generations. It took a long time before normal Ghanaians would even buy anything that is government, because there was always the suspicion, tomorrow you don't know what will happen. Now they are reintroducing that. All that needs to be done. And Doctor was talking about a letter, simple letter, that was written by the association to the minister. Exempt us from your program. I think that's the gist. I always like to distill things to their lowest common denominator. Exempt us, we are pensioners. Up to now, I've seen a copy of the letter. It's dated 7th January. According to Doctor, it was delivered on 10th January. Up to now, there's not even a note. I'm not even saying a letter, a note of acknowledgement. And yet, a few days ago, similar letters that had been written to the minister have been responded to, whereby he has categorically exempted other groups. Why? And when I cannot fathom the reason for something being done in a particular way, especially when it's been done for others, but it's not being done for others, I start getting suspicious. I've grown to be to the age where I've seen it all, and therefore I easily become suspicious. Gabi Ochiridako can call me paranoid. I don't care. We're talking about people, we're talking about human beings, we're talking about people who have served this country and have served well and served hard. Not easy service when you're not a member of government and you're calling yourself a member of government. So that's all I've got to say about this matter. That's why I'm still sitting here.
Okay, is there a mistrust for government where you cannot take government on its own word when it says it will honor your bond?
Paper talks. Paper talks. Empty talk flies with the wind. Yes. So a press release is one thing. A letter in response to a specific request is another thing altogether. Because when we've reached a point where we're feeling uncomfortable, even though we are holding government bonds, listen, it's a trust issue. Yes.
Well, are you hesitant taking this matter to court because now the deal is closed?
Well,
the final statement is out. What you need, I mean the group, if I say you, I mean the group, what you need has not been granted in that letter. Would you be taking this a bit further?
That one, I'm not speaking as a representative. The representative for the association is Dr. Ananianji. I'm not going to purport to speak for the
And if they call on your service?
I'm not a lawyer anymore. I'm not qualified to represent anybody in court. I'm a retired judge.
On your service as in legal advice?
I do not even hold a lawyer's practicing license anymore.
But you have the president's ear, don't you?
I do have
the president's ear. You can put in a word for
it. What's this got to do with somebody's personal ear? We're talking about principles. Isn't that so? Is it a favor? Is it something you go and beg for? I'm sorry, I wasn't brought up to beg. No.
So,
not to beg for what is due to me. Yes.
If government's position doesn't change, would you advise that the group, just as my brother said, sought a solution in court?
That's certainly a strong option. For myself, I will. For myself, it will be Sophia Kufu versus, right? But not on behalf of the association. The association will have to make its decision.
On the back of your answer to my colleague, you said you are not brought up to beg for things that ordinarily belong to you. You've been a very outstanding member of this country. You've served governments in the past. Don't you think that probably you could have a conversation with, say, the finance minister or the president, as he suggested? And as you are saying, it's an issue of principle. Maybe their principles may just come through when they get a word from you.
What am I going to say that's going to swing anything? Okay, what I've got to say, I'm saying it now. Yeah. Yes. What I've got to say, I said it on Friday, actually. So
You're comfortable with the backlash?
Listen, sticks and stones may break my bones, but blah, blah will not hurt me. No. An insult is the weapon of the pin-brained. That's all I've got to say. I'm not going to trade words with pin-brains. I'm sorry.
So until the minister responds to that letter, press statements won't suffice?
No. Press statements. They are two for a person. They come cheap.
But there's an assurance in that press statement that government will pay these coupons and principals when they are due. Is that not?
So we are waiting. When they become due, we shall see. But it will be better that for all of us and for the nation too, that he responds to the letter that's been sent to him. Why? What's stopping, apart from pride, what else is stopping the issuance of a response to the letter?
You had the former Chief Justice Sophia Ekufu, who joined the pensioner bondholders picket earlier at the Finance Ministry. We are joined over the phone lines by our colleague Charles Owusu-Kumi, who has been with them all through. Now, Charles, it looks like the CJ is really bent on helping them get a total exemption from the domestic debt exchange program.
Well, Wilma, yes, the former CJ, she's determined. She was here on Friday, and she joined in again today. She says that it's unfair, and she doesn't want to see old people who are in retirement, who are supposed to be enjoying their retirement, who have given so much to this country, have to go through what they are going through for the past 7 days here at the Finance Ministry. We asked her about criticism. She says that she's unfazed. She's too old and seen too much to be bothered by criticism. She says she thinks that she's doing the right thing, and she's joining in with the protesters to demand exemption. She says she wants the minister to respond to a letter that was written by the pensioner bondholders to the minister. That letter has not been responded to. She wants the minister to respond to that letter, and in that response, she wants him to explicitly state in that letter that the government has exempted the pensioners.
Now, what was the reaction of the pensioners?
Well, the former CJ she's well regarded in the country. So if she joins your protest, it gives them some enthusiasm. It gives them some hope that their protest is getting the attention that is needed, and that the minister would have to be forced one way or the other to grant them their demands. Now, the convener for the bondholders, Dr. Edu Ananyentri, he's been telling us that the reason they are asking for this exemption is that even though government in its press release this morning stated that coupon payments and principal payments will be honored when they are due for the pensioner bondholders who have self-exempted from the domestic debt exchange. There's a difference between the issuer, in this case being government, exempting you from the program, and you yourself exempting yourself. And that difference is about priority. So if government has small amounts of money, and wants to honor its debt, it will first take a look at the group of people that it exempted. So those people take priority over those who self-exempted from the program. And that is why they've been fighting for so long, since the inception of the program, to get this exemption. They say the minister recently wrote a letter to the Ghana Medical Association informing them of their exemption from the program. The minister did same for the pension fund. So they don't understand why their money investment, that's just about 3 billion cedis, cannot also be exempted by government.
Now, Charles, please hold on a minute. We have the voice of the convener of the Pensioners Bondholders Forum, Dr. Edu Anani. Let's listen to what he's been saying.
Own security gives is that when the time comes, I'll pay you your interest and I'll pay you your principal on maturity. So that assurance is there. It's already there, and it's just renewing it. So we have that assurance. So as I sit here, I know the government must pay me. The government can't run from that obligation. The worst the government will do is to default and for people to take you to court. So that obligation is there. It's just looking at it. But a priority, I'm saying that if you exempt me, I have a better position than if I have exempted myself. And I have explained it. And I have said the minister knows that. Why is the minister not coming out and say, you have exempted you? Why would the minister still want the elderly people to be gathering here, refusing to use the word, I have exempted you, which he has used just recently, 2 or 3 days ago, used in the letter he authored for the Medical Association people. That, look, you have been exempted. Why didn't the minister say, opt out, and I promise I'll pay you all your dues or your principal and coupon when it's due? Why didn't the minister give them that assurance?
That was the convener of the Pensioners Bondholders Forum, Dr. Edu Anani Entry. Charles is still with us over the phone lines. Now, Charles, do these pensioners intend to continue picketing?
Well, yes. They say that until they receive that letter stating that they have been exempted from the DDEP, they will continue to picket. They are coming back tomorrow. Thursday, they won't be here. They will be in Parliament, where the minister is scheduled to meet the House. So they will be in Parliament on Thursday, and then Friday they will be back here. They said they will continue doing this because they don't really understand why, after government announcing that it has attained the 80% of eligible bonds needed for a successful domestic debt exchange, why government cannot now exempt them. Because Dr. Edu Anani, mind you, is a player. He was a player in the securities industry. He was a former boss of the Securities and Exchange Commission. So he understands these things better. And he tells us that he understood the strategy that government was employing, which is not telling the pensioners that and other people that they've been exempted. Because once you say that, people will not be forced to sign on to it. But once you have attained the 80% threshold, he says that government should be able to now come out boldly and say that he has exempted, the finance minister should be able to say that he has exempted the pensioners. And why that has not happened is the bemusement.
Well, thank you very much. Hopefully they get the response they want from government. That was my colleague Charles Osukumi, who was with the pensioner bondholders earlier at the Finance Ministry. Kweku has more stories.
And we turn attention to education now, because the president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, Angel Kabonu, says the delay in the release of school placement for first-year students will distort their calendar. His comment comes after the Ghana Education Service, the GES, assured that it is committed to releasing the placement of 2022 JHS graduates into senior high schools before the reopening date of February 20. Angel Kabonu spoke to Citi News earlier on the City Breakfast Show.
If you recall that there is an investigation report about the placement, what happened last year. And in fact, it has really shaken the foundations of certain authorities in our country. And they will have to put in measures this time to ensure that we don't revert to that same thing. So, placement in school should be within the ambit of the Ghana Education Service, not the Ministry of Education. You see, there is a certain secretariat. I wonder what relevant that secretariat is today. That is Free Senior High School Secretariat. I don't know why we still have that secretariat operating. Because these guys, what? They are not teachers. They are political appointees. They said they are running Free Senior High School. I don't know what they do. I don't know the relevance of the Free Senior High School Secretariat. And these guys, I still have a difficulty as to why they are found operating in every sphere of education. You know, I think that placement in school, why should somebody pay 10,000 cities, 20,000 cities to get your daughter to Wesley Girls Senior High School? So I'm sure these are some of the issues that are being streamlined, hence the delay in the placement. And then again, they ought to deal with the IT institution also. Whether the IT system is locked up enough to protect the sanctity of placement as we speak. So for me, all that the Ghana Education Service ought to do is to extend and change the date of the reporting date of the Form 1. It can't be the 20th because it is not practical as we speak.
Angel Kabonu is the president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT.
Still in the senior high school, the executive director of Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asari, has given an indication that the double track system will extend beyond government's projection. The government's implemented the system to absorb more students following the introduction of the free senior high school policy. The government has assured that it is working in earnest to end the practice as it has reduced contact hours. But Kofi Asari says double track will persist beyond the desired periods.
Recall that when the double track was announced in 2018, government said that it was going to run for 5 years. It expected that 2023 was going to phase out. Unfortunately, the reality is that the efforts to end the double track have suffered a lot of setbacks, mainly financing. Ending double track principally requires expanding senior high schools, especially those in high demand, to ensure that we need to run tracks. Government went for a loan of 1.5, the city equivalent of a $1.5 billion loan, which was later converted into a bond, which is called a Dachi bond. Now, the main objective of that Dachi bond was to expand senior high school infrastructure and end the double track. 3 years into the loan, only about 3.2 billion has been disbursed by middle of last year. The last time I checked, around November, only 17% of the 1.2 billion floated had been subscribed. It means that financing the senior high school ongoing infrastructure projects to ensure that they are completed and for that ending double track on time wasn't going to happen. So that is the reason why we are going to have double track run this academic year. And if not this academic year, until we see an improvement in the liquidity situation, especially a patronage of bonds, because the batching bond is the main vehicle for expanding senior high school infrastructure and ending the double track.
Kofi Asari adds that government will continue to pay bills of all second cycle students even though it lacks the needed resources. The government has been admonished to review the free senior high school program to allow for parents who can't afford to pay. But the government has remained adamant while reports continue to expose the deteriorating conditions of schools across the country. Mr. Asari said the Akufo-Addo government will continue to pay for students for political expediency.
The issue of prepaid in senior high schools is one thing government must have confront because it will put the street senior school implementation in jeopardy if allowed to continue. Our senior high school should not be allowed to run on prepaid. It's as simple as that. The reason is that even though about 3 billion is available for implementing free senior high school this year, which includes the cost of 3 utilities, The finance ministry at the end of every year, in the past 3-4 years, has proven to Ghanaians that the economy is only able to execute, or if you like, disburse the maximum of 60 to 65% of their budgetary allocation for free seniors in a particular year. The reason why you see food shortages. So if by execution of the free seniors budget is a maximum of 65%, even in the year that we didn't have the economic crisis, then it tells you that all the time about 35% of the free seniors budget, which in this year is about 30 billion, will be in arrears. So if you take out the feeding, the remaining of the money is being used by uniforms, textbooks, exercise books, PE kits, church clothes, free Wi-Fi, and then utilities. So this, you can't use prepaid in the senior high schools. When you sleep in darkness, that's the reality.
That was the Executive Director of Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare. You're still listening to the Citi Prime News, which is live from our studios at Adabraka in Accra. Still ahead in the bulletin, Asukwa Circuit Court grants Suame, NDC youth organizer, 50,000 cedis bail with 2 sureties. We'll bring you details of that more shortly. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service.
Ethiopian Airlines, the largest airline in Africa, will from March 26 operate 11 flights to and from Ghana. Fly on 4 new evening flights from Accra on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Now you can travel with more convenience with Ethiopian Airlines night flights. Depart Accra in the evening and connect same morning to Ethiopian's vast African network and other popular destinations such as Dubai, Mumbai, and Delhi in India, Istanbul in Turkey, Tel Aviv in Israel, and many other European cities. Passengers traveling on the night flights on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays will enjoy special discounts on air tickets and additional baggage allowance. Book your ticket on ethiopianairlines.com or contact your preferred travel agent. You can call 020-201-3416 to book now. Ethiopian Airlines, the new spirit of Africa and a Star Alliance member.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Yeah, welcome back. Now, the National Democratic Congress youth organizer for Swami constituency, Razakompa Avolia, has been granted bail by the Asukwa Circuit Court in the Ashanti region. Mr. Avolia is being investigated by police for inciting political violence following some statements he made in a viral video. The court, presided over by His Honor Fred Obichere, granted a 50,000 Ghana cedis bail to the accused with 2 sureties. We're joined over the phone lines by our Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani, who was in court today, to tell us more. Good afternoon, Hafiz. Many thanks for joining us. Now, run us through what happened in court today.
This person, Mr. Avolia, reiterated his call he made in the previous proceedings that the court should grant his client bail, that his client is not a flight risk person, that also his client will avail himself to the police whenever he's needed to assist in their investigations, and that the accused person also turned up himself to the police when the police issued a statement to declare him wanted. So the prosecution did not oppose to the plea made by the counsel for the accused person, and the judge also
Hafiz, we seem to be losing you. If you can reposition yourself, we'll be grateful. Hello, Hafiz. We seem to have lost that line. So we have the lawyer of the accused, Evans Amankwa. Let's take a listen to what he's been saying.
Thankfully and graciously, the judge has granted our brother Kwampa Razak bail today. And we are thankful to the judiciary and the judge for granting our brother bail and understanding the position that we're coming from. The condition is also okay that we are executing the bail at the premises or the registry of the court. We are to come to court, back to court on the 9th of March. The court has ordered that the prosecution serve us with their disclosures so that we can start the trial. The condition? The condition was 2 sureties. 50,000 Ghana cedis with 2 sureties. We repeated our bail application that we made the last time, that the accused person surrendered himself to the police, so he has shown good faith. And again, he has been a youth organizer for over 12 years. And within these 12 years, there's no criminal record of him anywhere, and the police can attest to that fact.
Evans Amankwa is lawyer for the youth organizer for Swami constituency, Razak Kompa Avolia. And we have reconnected with our Ashanti regional correspondent, Hafiz Tijani. Now, Hafiz, run us through what happened in court.
Well, the lawyer for the accused person initiated his plea he made in the previous sittings, where he told the court that his client was not flight risk person, and also his client availed himself to the police when he was being asked to come and see the police following the statement made, and that his client is ready to always make himself available to the police whenever he's needed to assist in their investigations. So the prosecution did not object to the plea by the lawyer for the accused person, and the judge's statement also said that in the interest of democracy, the party also has shown some cooperation with the court as far as this matter is concerned, and he granted a 50,000 to the accused person with 2 sureties. And there was wild jubilations at the premises of the Asqa court complex when the announcement was made that Mr. Avolia was granted bail. Before that, the lawyer and other party executives, both national and regional executives, came out to speak to the media and spoke to party supporters who have at the premises of the court amidst tight security. And then they went back to sign some of the documents in terms of the bail conditions, and that has been granted, and Mr. Avolia has now been released.
What was his reaction? That's Mr. Avolia. What was his mood after he was released?
Well, he was being raised shoulder high by the party supporters. He was happy. He was in a top, white top with a blue tra, and he came out smiling and waving at some of the supporters who had gathered and chanting some party songs. And he was being hugged by some of his relatives and other party supporters who had come there to show their solidarity. And he wanted to make some statement, but he was restrained by his lawyer and other party executives.
And were you able to speak to any NDC, the leadership of the party?
Well, the national organizer of the party, Joseph Yamin, who has been part of, who came to the police station with Mr. Avolia and then subsequent court proceedings, and he was in court today. He says that the party is happy about the bail to Mr. Avolia, and then he said that the party will continue, party supporters will continue to show their support to any party member in these in trying times like this one. Mr. Avolia found himself.
Thank you for that update. That was our Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani giving us an update where the Swami constituency youth organizer has been granted bail. The NDC youth organizer has been granted bail to a tune of 50,000 cedis and granted 2 sureties. Kweku will give us more stories.
We'll take you to Parliament now because the Appointments Committee is expected to commence vetting ministers and its deputies who have been nominated by President Akufo-Addo from Monday, February 20, 2023. Now, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, on Tuesday, February 7, announced that President Akufo-Addo had nominated the Member of Parliament for Adansia Sokwa, Katie Hammond, as the Minister for Trade and Industry, with the Member of Parliament for Nshiaso, Dr. Stephen Amwa, serving as his deputy. Now, the Member of Parliament for Abetifi, Brian Champon, was also appointed as the Minister for Food and Agriculture. Stephen Asamoah Boateng was also nominated as the Minister for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, among others, subject to the vetting and approval of Parliament. The Appointments Committee of Parliament has thus slated next week, Monday and Tuesday, to consider and approve the nominations of the President.
Prosecution has closed its case in the criminal trial against minority leader Kisel Atuforsing and 2 others. The